ritual. And so we asked, what is that? And how do you join? And we took the first step. So he was our recommender, recommended us into Lodge back in 2002. Mm-hmm. And Shane and I both took our 3 degrees together. And from there, we both got into the line. Shane was a chair ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And we both progressed through the line up to the Oriental chair. I was Master of Harmony Lodge in 2010. Mm-hmm. And from there, I stepped right into the secretary's chair. So I've been secretary since there's 9 years, past 9 years. Mm-hmm. And still am secretary. I've been a district deputy for the last year
and a damn good secretary he is.
I don't know about that. And I've been, district deputy for the last year and a half, finishing up my last half a year. And I'm also thrice potent master of the Valley of Waterbury Scottish Rite.
Ah, I forgot about that.
I'm also a member of the York Rite bodies out of Meriden. Mm-hmm. I'm also...
You were chaplain when I was president of Blue Lodge Council.
Yes, I was chaplain in Blue Lodge Council. I'm also the treasurer of Zinda Grotto.
Jesus.
I'm also a member of the Kaobin Shrine Club.
Wow, they really got you, huh?
So they really had me. So I'm just trying to space things out.
All right. So you were picked. You were brought into Harmony 42.
Yes.
How old were you?
38.
38 when you became a member of Harmony 42.
Yes.
Entered an apprentice degree. First thing that went through your mind. What the hell did I get myself into? What was it?
It was what did I get myself into? And I mean, I had read a little bit about it, so I didn't know what exactly to expect, but I was very pleased with the degrees and the symbolism,
right?
That was explained through the degrees. I didn't really find anything scary or spooky, but like anyone else, you get the jitters.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially on that first degree, you really get the jitters.
Our current master puked. That was my fault. I tortured him. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yes. He. You have to understand about Ryan though. He's a Iraqi war vet. So when you put him in a weird situation where he's already got PTSD and now you're asking him to do certain things prior to the degree, not really knowing. Plus, it didn't help that me and Phil were telling him that he's going to have to ride a goat and all kinds of other stuff. So we pushed the envelope on that one. But what got you sparked into Freemason? Like, what was your interest? What drew you in?
Actually, the historical aspect more than anything. You look at the founding fathers that were Freemasons, and it's amazing. It's amazing what they accomplished. They founded a country. Then you go to the Civil War, and you look at a lot of the Civil War generals that were Freemasons, and it's phenomenal. The history of men that have been Freemasons and the impact they've had on our society and our world is without compare.
Right. You've been to Gettysburg, right? You guys do a bus trip,
times,
right?
Yes. I've been there probably about 4 times in the last 5 or 6 years. And
we do. Harmony does it, right? It's a Harmony project, right?
It's
the Gettysburg
trip.
The bus. Shane did the bus trip.
It's usually like a Shane thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Shane thing. It's not a Harmony thing. He loves it down there.
Oh,
though.
Yeah.
He goes all the time. You've seen him like on Facebook. That's Right Worshipful Shane Dufresne. He was the Grand Junior Steward.
Yes,
Grand Junior Steward. He goes there all the time. He loves it.
We were just down there back in August, and we really didn't do anything Masonic per se. We just really did a lot of battlefield walks and battlefield tours. Shane has a good friend of his who's a licensed battlefield guide, so we wound up walking a part of the first day battles, and we wound up seeing part of the battlefield that really no one's ever seen called the Lost Avenue, which is basically in the middle of 100 acres of private property.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just phenomenal monuments. The one thing we didn't do that we usually do when we first get there is stop by the Gettysburg Masonic Memorial, and we didn't even get there this time, because we were just.
I didn't even know there was one there.
Oh yeah, it's
Is
incredible.
that the brother to brother?
Yes,
memorial?
the brother memorial. Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've never actually seen it myself.
It's phenomenal.
So you became master of the lodge.
Yes.
So what was the most gratifying and toughest thing as master in Harmony 42, besides having to deal with Ken?
I don't think I was there yet.
No, Ken wasn't there yet.
I wasn't there.
Really?
No. Well, the toughest thing.
So you weren't even an itch in the vouchers in.
No, it was 2011 or 2012.
He's just
20
a baby.
Yeah, 2012 I think is when I was raised.
Yeah.
So it was probably So this is pre me.
Oh, okay, you're a preemie. So most gratifying thing and toughest thing you had as master.
Most gratifying thing, of course, was raising Masons.
Mhm.
The toughest thing was having to do double sets of degrees every month because we had so many people coming in through the EMR system. We had to do 2 degrees every month to keep up with people. So we were doing a lot of work, and it's like we were putting through anywhere between 8 and 10, enterings, passings, raisings a month.
Yeah,
for my year as master.
We had one year, I think it was under worshipful brother Phil, and it was just boom, 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 boom. Every single meeting was a degree. It burns you out quick.
Yeah. Well, what we do is we just hold an additional special communication. So we'd wind up having 3 meetings a month, and it was a long year.
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy, very busy.
That's when that once a month commitment that they tell you in the beginning. Yeah, it's once a month for 10 months. It's not a lot of time.
Realistically, if you think about it, though, it is once or twice a month if you don't partake in anything. If you just stay a regular Mason, it's minimal commitment. It's not until you start taking officers' chairs and then you get sucked into appending bodies is where now your time is. Or, you get dragged up here to podcasts and stuff like that.
Right.
Your time isn't used.
And then you affiliate with another lodge.
Yeah, then you go and affiliate with another lodge.
No, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Did you get blackballed?
I haven't handed.
No, I'm getting my stones busted because I still haven't given him the petition for
No,
it.
you actually did. I just haven't filled it out. It's in my backpack right now.
Oh, so I can pass it back to
so
him
you're
now.
okay, yeah,
Beautiful.
you're good.
So I'm in.
See what the standards are. Or
So-
the bar is.
Why did you stop at chaplain for Blue Edge Council? Just ran out of time?
Yeah, basically, I ran out of time.
Ran out of time.
It was just like I just didn't have time to do a lot of the things I wanted to do.
Yeah, it gets to be taxing sometimes. So you eventually were appointed. You became an AGM first, correct?
Yes, I was
never made
AGM with Shane actually back in 2010, 2011. So I was AGM in my year as master,
right?
And then I was AGM during my first year as secretary as well. So it's like everything comes in clumps. It seems.
I never got to go the AGM route. I would have liked to have been an AGM, but what do we call the AGMs? Glorified taxi drivers or
Drivers.
Drive the car, hold the pins.
Yes.
So as AGM, basically, what did you do as an AGM?
The AGM.
And I'm asking not only for the show,
Absolutely.
but also my own personal thing, because I never knew what an AGM did. I used to just go, you do that.
We've had one.
The AGM basically does the introductions of Grand Lodge officers during official visits of the Grand Line to a district. So if the Grand Master comes, the AGM is actually supposed to do all the introductions of the Grand Lodge officers, to line them up and actually do the introductions to Lodge or to whoever, whatever body,
Right.
As well as assisting the district deputy in the inspections.
I just also want to, in my AGM stands for Associate Grand Marshal. For those who don't know, we say AGM, we give it the acronym, and DD is District Deputy and all that. So after you were AGM, was there a lapse? There was a lapse.
Yes.
Because it was a couple others, and then it was who was after Shane? Was it?
Oh, no.
Bert Hughes, and then it was me, and then after me, it came Chip, Mike Adams, and somewhere along the lines. Yeah, again, there's two parts of our district. There's the north and the south.
There used to be three.
Yes.
There used to be three.
Yes, there was three. That was McQueen, I think it was Grandmaster when he did three.
Yeah.
And then a Grandmaster later went and did it to point of the compass, and it got chaotic from there. But that's a whole nother story. So you became district deputy. You were appointed and picked as district deputy, and you oversee how many lodges?
Right now, 5 lodges.
5. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing. What are one of the toughest things for you being a district deputy? What's one of the toughest things that you find either walking into a lodge or just district deputy in general?
Basically, trying to break through the nervousness on the part of the brothers in the lodge. Oh no, it's a district deputy. Oh no, we got to be on our best behavior.
Sure,
we're all brothers.
Oh, we're all screwed then.
Yeah. Because you go into lodge and there tends to be a little bit of apprehension on the part of some brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't have to be that, because we're all brothers. I've been through everything they've been through, and it's just trying to relax the brothers in the lodge, either during a visit or during an inspection.
So a couple things I just want to add on to this is that, and I'll say the same thing. I had 2 issues. Either they were nervous as hell or they stone cold hated the Grand Lodge and they wouldn't. We'll talk offline. We'll talk offline about when I was DD, but you get they're not, it wasn't me. It's who I represented. But anyway, we're moving on from that. But that stone cold, who the hell is the Grand Lodge coming here and tell us? And that's believe it or not, it's a stigma in some lodges. I dealt with it. And yes, the nervousness as well. But, what the point I was trying to drive at is that, the district deputy and realistically doesn't have as much power as you think they do. Right. Like everybody's the district deputy's going to pull my charter. District deputy cannot pull charters.
Do that. Only the Grandmaster.
Can't pull dues cards. The only thing that district deputy realistically does is report back. Right. So, and I've had a lodge that, and I'm sure you know of them because you were down here in the south at one point, right?
Yes.
Yes, you were the same down here at 3B. Mm-hmm. And there's one lodge that refused to give up their trustee information because they figured it's an in-house thing. And realistically, I'm like, ring, ring. What do I do? And he said, nothing. They don't want to give it up. Okay. And that was the end of it. And it was done deal. So district deputy really doesn't have the power. So lodges shouldn't, or even masters shouldn't really feel like, again, every state, every grand jurisdiction is different, but there's no pass or fail. Maybe you could talk about the inspections now. When I was there was no pass or fail. It was just kind of like an overall health of the lodge.
Yes.
And is that the same still to this day?
Yes, pretty much. And it extends into financial health as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is why they want a lot of the, profit and loss and trustees information and things like that. And just to see where the financial standings of the lodge are to make sure that they're able to endure in future years.
And on top of that, it's not like they're going to, at least again, when I was district deputy, I don't know how it is now. Every Grandmaster changed thing. But when I was district deputy, it wasn't a matter of, your lodge doesn't have money, we're going to come shut you down. It was, how can we assist you?
Yes,
and
how
help
can
you?
we help?
Right. So after district deputy, where do you see yourself going? Are you all set? Are you...
Well, let's see. After district deputy,
riding off into the sunset.
No. Actually, I would.
You're going to continue being secretary for the rest of your life. Right?
Yes. No. Actually, I haven't reached a decision on the secretary's spot yet. But I would like to get involved with the York Rite bodies because I went through the York Rite degrees and just haven't been back because I haven't had the time. So I would definitely like to get involved a little bit more in York Rite and continue in my journey with Scottish Rite. And it's just both bodies are a lot of fun, and you meet a lot of great brothers.
Let's see here. So let's talk about secretary stuff.
Sure.
I'm a secretary. Have you picked your replacement? I already have. He just affiliated recently.
Really?
No
wow.
freaking way.
Hey, wow, that's great.
No.
Well, we got 3 secretaries in the house.
I've got my hands full with my own. I've got one more year after this one, and then I'm done.
Well, here's the thing. Harmony Lodge has approximately 175 members.
Mm-hmm.
So as a lodge,
wow.
we are a big lodge, and just keeping track of everything is just it's a job. It really is.
Now, you said 175?
Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, you're also in Waterbury too, so
yeah,
which is a city. We're in little rural.
Waterbury has 2 lodges.
That's true too. Are those all? How many do you have at an active night now?
25. 25 will show up for active. Yeah.
Yeah, most of our people who are on the books. I think we got either 60 or 70 on the books. But they're all live in Florida.
We have quite a few.
Yeah, they're all down south.
Yeah.
We only have a couple that are up here. Have you done now? I don't remember whose job is it to do the 50-year pins. Maybe you could talk about that program.
The 50-year pin is usually done by the either the Grand Master or the Grand Lodge representative.
So it's not done by district deputies anymore. Because we started doing them and then we ended up mailing them.
Right.
But whatever. But you would like to talk about the program, what's the program that they're running that district deputies are really pushing? The Perfect Craftsman.
Perfect Ashlar.
Perfect Ashlar.
Perfect Ashlar. Oh,
Maybe you could talk about that in the mentor one.
Sure.
Too.
Well, worshipful brother Ken here is a Perfect Ashlar, so he could probably tell you a lot more about it than I can.
He damn sure ain't a perfect craftsman. I can tell you that right now.
Not a perfect co-host either.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry I missed it. I didn't get up there because I was at a Waterbury Regional Chamber event that one of our brothers in Harmony got. He was honored at he got the Malcolm Baldridge Award, Giuseppe Pisani. So I was there instead of being at the Blue Lodge Council. But so the Perfect Ashlar Award is a program designed by Grand Lodge. Actually, Most Worshipful Brother Marshall Robinson came up with it from a program from another Grand Lodge, from where I'm not really exactly certain. But it's basically a series of 10 things you have to do. And you have a choice of basically 15, but you have to visit lodges. You have to see each of the degrees. And you could start in the program once you are entered as an EA. And then you have a year after your raising to complete the program. So you have to visit a certain number of lodges in your district. You have to
it's like all kinds of like help things.
Right.
Like,
I think one of them was Masonic funeral.
Masonic funeral. You should go visit a Masonic widow or a Masonic brother.
help setting up the lodge.
Help setting up the lodge. Doing a lecture in lodge. A lot of things like that. So it's a fun program, and it gets brothers involved and actually teaches them more about Freemasonry. The mentor program is a corollary to that program. And basically the mentor program, what it does is, every brother should be assigned a mentor when they're, going through their degree.
God, I hope it ain't one of these two.
So what a mentor does is a mentor will sit with the brother. And one of the things is in the mentor program is you're supposed to review and explain the obligations of each degree. You're supposed to review and explain the landmarks of Freemasonry. And so, in addition to traveling with your brother who is your mentee. So you travel with him, you show him things, and it's basically teaching. So
you gonna make it?
No.
Ken knows CPR.
I do.
Oh.
So do you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I prefer Ken. Help me, I'm choking.
He's also a police officer. I hope he just steps on your chest.
With a stun gun.
He's fighting. He's fighting. All right. So, what do you see that will improve Freemasonry from your eyes? Again, our three thing is what we're doing here. What do you see? How do you see to expand the craft and make it better, to bring in more people? What do you think we can do?
I think we have to reach out to the public a little bit more. We have to get a little bit more in the public eye, whether one be through social media like we are doing here, or whether it be through community events like hat and coat drives, for needy children.
Right.
Canned food drives around the holidays. Things to get our name out. Like the Valley of Waterbury does the dyslexia walk for the Learning Center up in Waterbury, and, which also helps get our name out. So every Masonic organization has its own charity.
Right.
I think Masonry in general we have to publicize ourselves a little bit more.
And next question. There's no doubt that Freemasonry is losing membership slowly but surely. How do you see, or why do you believe that is?
I believe that life today is not what life was 20 years ago, 30 years, 40, 50 years ago. There are numerous amount of, I'll say, distractions in our lives that didn't exist 50 years ago. So 50 years ago, you had TV, you had radio, but you didn't have the all-absorbing things like social media that went through people's lives on a daily basis. Back in the 50s, 60s, there weren't a lot of things to do. Life was simpler, and you had less things to do. You had a smaller circle of friends usually, because you didn't have
500
the world.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Masonry back then was a little bit, I won't say simpler, but it was more real.
Right.
You went to lodge and
The original Facebook.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You went to lodge, you saw your friends, but now there are so many things that compete for everyone's time.
Yeah.
It's difficult. And that's why I think a lot of we lose members because people don't have the time, today. People are working, 2-3 jobs. They're working odd shifts, and it's difficult.
Right. So you got a couple questions. First off, do you know what our MOVE program is? Did you see that on Facebook? What we're doing, the MOVE program?
No.
Masonic outreach for veterans everywhere, and it's we're going to be going. Basically, we printed up. We have an artiste, brother Peter Daigle from New Hampshire, who wrote up a beautiful image. It's posted all over. I think my Facebook, Joe's, Ken's. And we're going to be reaching out to different veterans hospitals, Fisher houses, in order to bring in veterans into the fraternity. And because again, our whole thing was, and this is perfect.
Oh, wow.
This is perfect. So we get to talk about it too. Our hope is that when veterans come back from the military and they're now in the civilian world, they lose that piece of brotherhood that they felt in the military. And we're not claiming to give that completely back to them, but it is a way to give a piece of it back to them. And, part of it is veterans. There's veterans that come back, and 22 of them die every day, or I think the number is now 17, but we'll go with between 22 and 17 veterans die each day from committing suicide.
Still way too many.
And if we can bring them into a lodge and show them that there's a fraternity or brotherhood or brothers that will help them up and be with them and talk to them and be part of something greater than themselves, hopefully we can turn that back. So that is our move. So Joseph Schultz, Worshipful brother Joseph Schultz asks, interesting programs, talking about the 2 programs that we have in the state. What do you think about that move program? Do you think that's
I think it's phenomenal, outstanding. You know, I mean, I'm a military veteran as well, not wartime, but I served in the Air Force as a law enforcement specialist over at Clark Air Base in the Philippines, or rather what used to be Clark Air Base in the Philippines before Mount Pinatubo wiped it out. One of my grave disappointments in life is that I missed the volcano over there. I was already D-Rose.
Wait. Hold on. You said it wiped the base out. Why are you saying I missed it?
I missed it.
I'm disappointed I missed it. If you'd have been on the...
I already had a day to return from overseas. I was back overseas, and then the volcano blew up.
Did it immediately wipe out the base?
Well, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh
well, not immediately after I left.
Oh,
it was like about a year.
But if you were there, you wouldn't be with us.
Oh, yeah, I would have been there. Yeah. No one got killed or anything.
Okay.
Missed it as in it didn't.
I'm thinking of like the movie Pompeii, which
that's exactly what I... I'm surprised you know what that is.
I've seen it with Jon Snow.
Can you spell Pompeii?
Pompei.
Wow. God, yeah.
There's a shot collar. Give it to Joe. Next question. Same brother, worshipful brother Joseph Schultz. He says he's from Delaware, and he says it's hard to get lodges to work together in our state. Any advice on how they can coordinate their efforts?
If they have Blue Lodge councils, if they have something akin to a Blue Lodge council, attending a Blue Lodge council, or start visiting other lodges within your district and making connections with the brothers. That's the best way. Make connections and visit and get to know everyone.
See, and I think that's the key when we talk about losing members and competing for time. When you have brothers that barely have enough time to attend their own lodge, they don't travel as much. And when you don't travel as much, you don't see what other people are doing. You don't get to hear those different ideas. You don't get to take other ideas back with you. And I think that's leading to that difficulty in coordinating efforts.
Right. So 2 things. Joseph Schultz is and his brother Greg are from Delaware. And what do we call them? The Legion of Doom, Brothers of Destruction, whatever. They're funny as hell. Hanson Brothers. So he says, go Chair Force.
You can say whatever you want back to him.
Listen.
You know what?
He can take it.
Listen, I was an Air Force grunt. I was a cop in the Air Force. So I went through Air Base ground defense training at Fort Dix, New Jersey. And so we had fun. I was a M60 gunner.
Matthew Butts says, thank you for your service. Another brother.
Thank you.
Chris Martinelli. I think you know him, right?
Oh, Chooch.
Now I got Joe complex. Botulism. As secretary of his lodge, what are his honest feelings about Grandview? For those who don't know what Grandview is, it's there's no more minutes, or not minutes. There's no more monthlies. Everything is done automated through the computer. And why do some old timer secretaries not like it?
All right. Well, I wouldn't consider myself an old timer secretary.
Nope. Not even close. I've seen you use Grandview.
I am.
I like Grandview. It's a learning curve. It's definitely a learning curve.
I think that's why.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve, but there's a lot of good things in it, and it gives you information right there when you need it. You could look up and find information right there when you need it. As secretary.
I'm a secretary as well. And, I'm super glad that they have Grandview. I like Grandview. And that's the reason being is because I'm sick of going out and buying ink cartridges for my printer and paper every freaking 3 weeks because I have to print off 1,000 things. Right. Everything is PDF now. You can write it right on there and fire it right back. Exactly. So you don't got to do anything crazy anymore.
The rules and regs are right where you need them as
rules
a master.
And regs,
officers' manuals. You can look up somebody's contact info if you have to get in touch
with
update
somebody
all the
contact info right there.
I freaking love it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That's interesting. Matthew Butts also says we have masters and wardens meetings to really help communication between the lodges in the district in New York. And that's pretty much like our Blue Lodge Council, same thing, except it's not just open to masters and wardens. It's open to
everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
You saw Heath Moss comment,
Yes,
right?
we got another brother. Heath from down south says Air Force security is kind of like Paul Blart, the mall cop. Oh, I should have warned you.
Oh, wow, that's brutal.
They're not always that brutal to guess.
They take they take no prisoners, though. That's
Yeah, but-
they're a rowdy bunch.
Yeah, but Clark Air Base was real world stuff. We had
Where is that again? The Philippines? You said
Republic of the Philippines, Angeles City.
Hmm.
It was all real world stuff. We had intruders every night.
Oh, wow.
Stealing, like, they'd steal anything that wasn't tied down. We used to have rolls of concertina wire. There was a 26-mile wall, concrete cinder block wall, 10 feet tall, topped with broken glass. And at the base of the wall, on the inside.
Intentional broken glass?
Oh, yeah,
to keep them off?
Yeah.
Like razor wire
Yes.
almost to do.
Well, we had razor wire along the base.
Oh, wow.
The intruders would reach over with a hook stick and steal the razor wire.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, it was fun.
That's
And,
awesome.
there were several coup attempts while I was there.
Oh, trying to take over the government?
yeah.
Ooh.
And there were a bunch of assassinations of Air Force personnel when I was there as well.
Any bunches of kids decide to try to storm the airbase to see them aliens? While you were there?
Yeah, there were no aliens at Clark Air Base. Not
That's
as far
what
as
they
I
want
know.
us to
He
think.
pulled the rug right out from underneath me. Because
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I thought
No,
somebody
no.
else would have gone there by now.
I was heading that
Okay.
way. No, you're good. I was actually going to say, and what were like, and again, I was only at Lejeune, but what is like the criteria when they would break into the base or whatever?
We run them down and try to catch them.
Catch them?
Yeah,
And,
either with us on foot or send a dog or.
Right. I don't really know. On stateside, obviously, it's the same thing. They'll just grab you and beat your ass. But over in Iraq, they'll, I don't know if they light you up, or even in the Philippines, if they light them up trying to break into the base.
Well,
something like
no, we wouldn't. No one would get. There was no deadly force authorized for regular base. The regular base, housing areas or anything. But we also had the largest military working dog program in the military.
I'll take the bullet. Thank you.
I think we had about 900 military working dogs.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll take the bullet. Thank you. Getting your ass chewed up by a Malamar. No, I'm good. Is that what they used, or was it? Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. Give me the bullet.
I think a Chihuahua could take you down. It'd be really, really easy.
You're welcome. I'm just
Maybe a Jack
see what I'm
Russell
doing.
Terrier.
I'm just filling the
Yeah.
pool for you. That's all. What was I going to say? So, while we're on that subject about aliens and everything, what are you thinking? If they end up doing this, I know they showed up. You know the part that pissed me off about this whole. I know we're getting off subject now, and you know what? I mean, we've pretty much covered it.
Because that never happened.
Well, they stood around too. They didn't just show up.
No, they showed up.
They
But you know
also
what pissed
stood
me off more than anything about seeing the picture? It's show us the aliens, and then there's a flag of North Korea right behind them. Like, what the hell does that have to do with aliens?
Just being randoms.
It's just
they're
random shit.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
they
I'm thinking-
thought about the wrong aliens. I don't know.
Oh, we're going to show up to a fully operational military base.
Yeah, they're like nihilists.
And they're
like,
going to
let's
show
just-
us the aliens. No, they're going to shoot you in the face. That's what's going to happen. Like, you can't just walk into Lejeune or walk into Pendleton and be like, hey, show us the helicopters or something like that. They're going to shoot you, probably tase you, loose the Malamars, and you're done. Like,
All right. So I don't think there are any aliens. Don't believe in it.
not an alien believer, huh?
Nah, don't believe it. You know what?
I didn't believe until Joe joined the podcast. And now I'm like, nah, full-fledged.
So you're
You know
saying
what?
gingers are aliens? They're like the reptile people that live under the ground, like that kind of thing.
Translucent skin wrapped over an alien frame.
Like
If we're talking about translucent skin, he just turned the guns. He just turned the turrets right out.
he's like Predator. He'll disappear right in the woods. He'll just camouflage himself.
So we were up here for a podcast one time, and Ken was wearing shorts. And
Yes.
somebody who was watching live made a comment about his legs. He's like the
I don't
Predator.
get a lot of sun.
So Heath Moss, he also says, Navy Security Force Senior Chief Master at Arms.
Oh, that's what he was.
Oh, that must have been what it
Yeah.
was.
So that's why he's taking
That's
shots.
why
He's
he's-
saying, hey, he's pulling the, hey, it's okay, I'm Italian. I can make a joke. That's what he's doing.
Uh,
It's okay. My best friend's Italian. I can
What does
make
a
a joke.
Navy security force do?
Navy security forces is pretty much, I believe, the same type of thing. They're
just guarding like aircraft carriers.
Security forces. Yeah, the Marines had the security forces as well. They were some bad mothers too, man.
Like Team America.
Like they had seen them a couple times when they were training. They had the riot shields, and they would all move like a Roman legion,
like a Roman
just.
That's intimidating. Yeah, you don't want to see that coming for you.
No, and I don't remember if they had a side. I think they had a sidearm, but they didn't use. It was basically a giant billy club, and they would just beat your ass when they got close to you, or they would just smash you with the shields. I've seen them a couple times. It was pretty wild. All MWD are trained by Air Force. Great program. What the hell's
Lackland Air
MWD?
Force Base.
What the hell's MWD?
Military working dogs.
Oh, military working dogs. Yeah, that makes sense.
I had the opportunity to be a handler, and when I was done with Air Base Ground Defense training at Fort Dix, it was like the end of November, and it was choice: do I go home for the holidays or do I go be a military working dog handler? I said, I'm going to go home for the holidays. I should have been a handler.
I'd be worried about the sumbitch turning bad on me.
Oh, they do.
Piss them off. Just do something.
Yeah, do they turn on their handlers occasionally?
Yeah.
Take his dog bone, and him just. All right, I'll take your forearm instead.
Scary.
Well,
just walking off, just with an arm like this in his mouth.
Yeah, like Siegfried and Roy.
It's strange because with police working dogs, the cops take their dogs home. They have a 24/7 bond. With the military, it's the military working dogs go out for a shift and then they go back to the kennel. So there's I think less of a bond with a military working dog than there is an actual police working dog. That's just my observation.
I don't know if I'd agree with that though. They should stay with their handler. They really should, like to build that bond and all that stuff. Same as police officers, they take them home. They're home dog.
Well, if you're living in the barracks, you can't.
True. The only other thing is that I think police dogs are more deal with everyday people, whereas military dogs don't. They're going out to perform a job, which is eat somebody's ass.
Exactly.
Whereas canines have to kind of.
They have a fine line to walk.
Yes. Yeah.
Would you want a dog that's trained to do that? To do that
in
job, like eat the arm off of somebody that has a freaking AK-47. Do you want them sleeping next to you in the barracks?
Joe Schultz wants them as Tyler.
Dog beds.
Well, you also have to run the opposite end of this. I know we're getting totally off the Masonic topic, but that's fine. The other opposite end of that is, do you want that same military dog to become accustomed to being petted and people talking to them? Now you've softened him to perform that job. If you're taking him out in combat, that dog, much like somebody who is in the military, if you're out in combat, you're looking at everybody. You're not, thinking, because realistically in combat, you can have an 8-year-old pop up with an AK and light your ass up in combat. Whereas police, you're not so much going to get that. No. Yeah, so I can understand, I guess, the separation of trying to keep them hard.
Oh, also in the Air Force, we did not have barracks. We had dormitories in the Air Force. So just so you know, we had no barracks. We had dorms.
Dormitories sounds nice.
We had dormitories.
Yeah. I had those in college too.
Somebody once told me, it's like, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? I said, I'd go Air Force because they get paid better.
And the food's better.
You're not sleeping out underneath a sea hut. Just two pieces of fabric and 2 sticks just laying in the mud like, this sucks. Joseph Schultz says, we should keep dogs as Tylers.
That'd be cool.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
That brother hasn't paid his dues.
He doesn't have the right grip or word. Just a dog.
I like that idea. We should start a program.
Heath Moss said, he goes, I've been on the both sides exactly. And he said, the bond is totally different in the military. Chip Schofield joined us. I went to his retirement party yesterday.
Hey,
I did too.
Chip.
Oh, you were up there?
Yeah, I had to leave around 2 because I had to go to a nephew's birthday party.
We had Morningstar's car show, so And then I had some badass babies at home that were flying all over the place. So I had to
It's
go
all right.
home.
Like Marty and Shane were on shift 1, and then the rest of us showed up for shift 2.
I caught you on the way out.
Yeah. So he had visitors all day long.
We had some funny jokes while we were up there. We had a good time up there.
Yeah.
Cracking jokes. They made who made the joke? Oh, I think it was Danny Sharkus made the joke about me sitting at the old table, the old bench table that was in the back up there. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, "Look at you." He's like, "Perfect bench for you." He's like, "Old." I said, "Yeah, but it's not short; it's tall." Like, it's funny. I don't remember the exact contents of the conversation. We had a good time up there at his retirement.
Yeah,
and again, happy retirement. How much longer you got to go?
I don't know. When I find another job.
Oh, you're just hanging out right now?
Yeah, just hanging out right now. I got to find another job, then I'll leave. Maybe.
Another job with a pension, with benefits.
Yeah.
Collect them both. Good to go.
Yeah. Get a Shane gig. He's got a good gig going now.
He always has a gig going somewhere.
All right. So I don't have any other questions. That's all I can think of. So thank you for coming up here and hanging out with us. And
Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. And next
great
time
pleasure.
we'll have you up here again with Mike, and then we'll do the trivia back and forth, and we'll see who the better district deputy is.
With the shot collar?
That's up to them. See,
Mike's
the only
not
problem
gonna have
is,
this.
here's the problem though. Okay, Mike, I'm not worried about. We'll shock him all day. But Marty's a police officer, and his shock collar is a hell of a lot better than the one we got.
Oh,
See,
play
I
with
have
that.
a better
We'll be
idea.
sitting here.
Hey, I'd love to see
I-
you. I would pay good money to see you get tased. I would
All right,
give
now,
so much
hold
money
on.
to
I have a
charity.
better idea.
All
We
right.
bring our AGMs,
Uh-huh.
and if we answer the AGMs,
Oh, I like it.
That's even
Yeah,
better.
That's
I
even
think
better.
that's better.
Yes, AGMs have to come up
Yep, let's
as well.
make this happen.
We'll make this happen. If the district deputies get it wrong, the AGMs get popped.
shocked.
yes.
But
So
now
it
that
should be.
we're going to up the ante, though.
Uh-oh.
If they get shocked, well, they're going to be wearing the shock collar, but they have to stand in a bucket of water.
So this is Danny and Steve, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
Or maybe I could find on Amazon a kettle prod. That'd be even more fun.
No, we can't kill anybody.
All right. So,
We don't have a general liability policy. I would advise it.
you have one other
Yeah.
question. Worship Brother Joseph Schultz. Any military lodges in the Philippines?
You know what? I do not know. I wasn't involved. I wish I was when I was over in the Philippines. There may have been, but nothing that I recall seeing.
There had to have been, because
Yeah.
all I think about is MacArthur.
Actually,
he was Mason in the Philippines. It's
The
where he
funny
was raised
thing
and
is-
everything.
I visited MacArthur's grave in Norfolk, Virginia,
Mhm.
and General MacArthur was made a Mason at site.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he actually didn't go through all the degrees, but
Right.
they did have his shrine fez and his apron.
Oh, very
down in
cool.
Norfolk,
Oh, that's
which was
awesome.
really cool to see.
Mike Adams said he's not answering any of them right. This is the whole point of this. All right, let's shut it down. We're gonna thank you again for coming up here, and
Yes, thank you very much.
love to have
You're
you up
very
here
welcome.
again. So,
Thanks, Marty.
all right, brothers, for the Freemasons podcast, I'm your host, Right Worshipful Brother George Marjorie, signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Right Worshipful Brother Marty Macary signing off.
Have a good night, everyone. Shut down that. We're gonna shut down the live feed, and we are
Bye,
done.
folks.
Y'all need Jesus.
Y'all need Jesus.
Woohoo.